Who a tough man. We go missing by the hundreds. The camera loves us, Oscar doesn't. They want us in the kitchen, kill our sons with lynching. We get loud about it. Oh, now we're the bitches. Look at what they did to my sister.
Bluetooth connected.
Black girl magic. Yeah, she scares the government. Deja vu, a tough man. And she don't give up. Yeah, she don't give up. She don't give up. No, she don't give up. Rosa was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. Ella was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. Audrey was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. And Della was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. So Jenna was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. Asata was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. Rosa was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. Ella was a freedom fighter and she taught us how to fight. See, she's telepathic, call it black girl magic. Yeah, she scares the government. Deja vu, a tough man. But what they don't understand, but what they don't understand, but what they don't understand, see what they don't understand. She don't give up. Yeah, she don't give up. She don't give up. No, she don't give up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. Feels like I haven't been on in forever. Keep having all these technical difficulties. All of these technical difficulties. I would like to thank all of my Tea Time with Bunky followers and subscribers that have been with me from day one. Just want to let you know that I appreciate you. Continue to share, like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend, comment, interact with us, comment, like it, love it. Tonight's episode is our final Tuesday in Black History Month. If you can tell, I've been trying to connect my political Tuesdays with Black History Month. Tonight I have a special guest, Miss Felicia Cooper, and we're talking about the strength of the Black woman. I'm not going to do any announcements tonight. No announcements tonight, but there's something I want to read that I saw before I bring her on. And I really want you guys to interact tonight with us. I found this on the internet and it says, wait a minute. Did you look at this mess? Oh my God, I can't find it. Wait, there we go. Shame, can't work your phone. It says, as such, Black women are born of Earth's riches, representing varying shades of color, as Mother Earth is bountiful in color. Earth has protective layers as Black women have melanin that is the very color of Earth, absorbing the light, the warmth of the sun while it illuminates our skin. Mother Earth has layers within its atmosphere that helps our planet warm. With varying weather patterns, both Black women and Mother Earth are ancient vessels, rooted and connected to divine structure and wisdom. Both women and Earth have innate and natural cycles. For women bleed out the womb in alignment with the cycle of the moon as Mother Earth experiences changes in seasons. The more we can recognize that women and Mother Earth are inseparable, the more we can start believing in ways that honor and respect the relationships we have with Black women and Mother Earth. And I felt that was so relevant to what we're going to talk about tonight. We're talking about the strength of the Black woman. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Miss Felicia Cooper.
Hello, hello.
More light.
Hey,
You need more light.
you
Can you
need
get
more
a little?
light?
You
I'm
need
a
a little
little
bit.
dark.
Don't worry about that.
All right, hold on,
Okay.
Bunky. Yeah, because you can't see my face.
But
Can
how are
you see
you?
now?
Yeah, I can see you.
I
How
am
are
blessed to
you?
see another day. Yes,
Thank
every day.
you. Yes. Yes,
Yes,
you are.
every day, every day.
I mean, like that little reading, it was totally relevant.
Oh, that
And
that that right there, it entunes me. I know I'm on the right path because I've been learning and reading our wound and nature.
yeah,
Um, it goes hand to hand, and we have to get in tune with that.
yes,
So that right there is just confirmation. Thank you.
you're welcome. You are so welcome.
Thank you. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
when I decided to do that, because you saw, I kept going back and forth, right? I kept going.
Hmm.
That always seems to happen. Like I have an idea about one thing, but then something to come up. Do you hear an echo?
No.
Okay, so it's my earphone. The strength of the Black woman, like our men, how we're always by, huh?
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. How we support our men, our children, our culture, our community. Um, we are we are it.
Yes.
We are it. But before we get into any more of that, tell the people a little bit about you, because you were supposed to have been on before. You were supposed to have been
Yes.
on before, but some
For those who don't know me, your brother is my husband, Everett Halsey.
shout out to
Um,
Alan.
yes, Uncle Allen, as everybody, AKA,
Yeah.
Hollywood Allen. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, we've been going strong for almost 19 years, raising our kids, you know, um,
Uh,
outside and inside of our children. And, it takes both parents to really, raise their children.
mhm,
Granted, if, you know, push comes to shove as women, we're going to do what we need to do. But
right.
honestly, to be strong, you need both parents involved. So,
You
you
do.
know, um, I'm just on this journey of life, just trying to be my authentic self as we, travel and go through the cycle of life that is happening, in this world. So, I'm just trying to get in tune and do the right thing for myself and my family and be that person that I need to be for my children and my husband.
Mhm.
You know, it's important. It's an investment, but I ain't gonna go deep. So those who don't know me, um, I am in the community. I'm in Newburgh. I am in the healthcare field. I advocate also for healthcare. Those who don't know certain things, I come in, I intervene, and I step in and I make sure, like if you're at the hospital and stuff like that, my family is going to be taken care of for
Mhm.
sure. Proper treatment will be in place. You ain't gonna do any and everything to my family, not with my knowledge and the power that God gives me. So, with all that being said, let's get into it, sister.
This because we kind of tell we don't need any kind. Tell him to be quiet back. Tell him,
You got to.
yeah, tell him, chill out, chill. Um, we had our conversation was just going and going, right? Then we were like, we got to have this conversation. We got
Yeah,
to have this conversation on camera. Um,
yeah.
you talked about how you're in a healthcare profession. We had talked about initially we were going to talk about the vaccination thing, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
Mm-mm.
Um, I want to talk about how the Black women, Mother Earth, how we care for everybody. We do. We're devalued, but
Yeah.
yet we're highly imitated.
Hmm.
And it seems like a lot of it. I'm not talking about the people outside of our community. I'm talking about the people inside. When I say the devalued, I'm talking about from experience a little bit from our Black men. See, you don't have that. Thank God. You got a strong Black man behind you that is like, you know.
Yeah.
But growing up, like I don't know, where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Newburgh.
You grew up in Newburgh. Okay, I grew up in
Yeah.
Fallsburg. Okay,
Oh.
I grew up.
Oh yeah.
Don't get my. I love my Fallsburg. Don't you know? But
I know.
I was never. I felt as if I was never seen.
Yeah. And then when I got in tune to you guys, I'm like seeing around. I'm like, where's the sisters?
And you know
Where
that's
are y'all?
and that's crazy because
For
it's like
real.
growing up in a big family. I think it was predominantly female in my family, and
Mm.
there's a whole bunch of us. So as far as family, because we were like related to everybody, I always saw strong Black women.
Hmm.
But the men, I'm not talking about my uncles and them. I'm talking about like the
Right.
outside. And I don't know, and some of them and cousins and sons and they always chose to date white women.
Right.
They have. Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't feel as if I was seen,
Hmm.
as if I was seen. And you growing up in Newburgh, I know that's like a whole totally different experience.
Yeah.
Now, me, I'd be scared of Newburgh. I am scared of
Stop
Newburgh.
that like that. You gotta pick your areas.
But no, I'm not even talking about the crime. I'm not even talking about like crime. I'm just
Oh.
saying being, which may sound crazy to you, but growing up in a predominantly white county, going to
Hmm.
a place where I'm surrounded by people that look like me,
Yeah.
scares me.
Oh, okay.
Still does. So it's not about even a crime. I'm
Right.
scary anyway.
Right.
Um,
And that shouldn't happen. That's an issue.
that's an issue.
That's an issue.
Um, and that might surprise people that I say growing up in school that I didn't felt seen because I was a little cheerleader.
Hmm.
Everybody knew Bunky, but no, I didn't feel like they saw me.
Right.
You know, I had
Wow.
my little boyfriend in school, in high school,
Hmm.
and the people that know me that's watching this, do not say his name. He was a black guy. He was, how can I describe him? His complexion was a dark chocolate,
Mm.
perfect in every way.
Okay.
Um, but I still don't know if he saw me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep,
That's
Bunky.
Yeah, that's insane. But
That's
now,
insane.
as a woman grown with
Mm-hmm.
sons,
Yeah.
I see how we nurtured and always have our communities and our children and our friends' children and our men. Because I'm sure you'll stand behind your your husband, your man through thick and thin.
Yeah. Hmm. You have to a certain degree. I think as a relationship, I think it goes back to knowing who we both are. And
Hmm.
that's what we have to really do as, men and women. We have to know who we are
Right.
because when we unite, it's an investment between the both of us,
Yeah.
you know. And if you don't have that solid, information about who you are and just in general of our roots, it's kind of hard.
Well,
It's hard to teach that.
it's and that was another thing I was going to say. Like we have to. I didn't know about it. I'm like real, and it's crazy because I feel like a child because I'm just learning all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's important to raise our children with confidence and being secure in who they are.
Yes.
Now, both you're blessed to have both parents. Your kids are blessed to have both parents in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some of the things? If you could, you probably just do it automatically and don't realize it. But like, what are some of the things that you do or say to your kids to instill, to remind them that they are all of that?
Well, most importantly, I always try to have my kids to be who they are and not try to engage themselves, in groups just to feel like you need to be accepted. Be who you are, be authentic, love who you are. Because in this time frame that we living in this era right now, it's totally different from my era growing up. I mean, we had issues then, but the issues that my kids and this next generation are facing is is very rough. It's a lot of depression, it's a lot of anxiety, low self-esteem, all of that, and they cannot deal with the world. So Alan and I, we try to encourage our kids just to be strong and just, and not typically try to um, be conformed to the systematic systems that they traditionally want us to, teach our kids, like the traditional careers. No, you can dream and you can create your own job,
Right,
something that they don't teach. So we try to allow them to be open with themselves and, think big, think
right,
big,
yeah.
and most of all, know that we love them, you know.
The, here you go. Da, 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 da.
Oh, I can't wait how you see how he
Yeah,
intervened
it just
where
needs,
and I left him peaceful. Oh my God.
yeah, several seats,
Sorry.
several seats. No, it's all right. Now, your daughters, right?
Hmm.
Your daughters. It's important. I'm learning. I don't have daughters, so I
Yeah.
don't know, what that's like. But I do have a granddaughter,
Hmm.
and I make sure I tell her every chance I get how beautiful she is.
Right.
Like I think it's to the point she's a little girl, but she's like, I know,
Yes,
grandma.
she's
Yeah,
beautiful.
but you
Yes.
need to know that you are beautiful. But not just it's more important, like I try to teach it's more important to be beautiful on the inside
Hmm.
and than on the outside because you can be beautiful on the outside, but ugly as what?
On the inside,
On
correct.
the inside.
Sorry.
No,
Yes.
it's all right.
Yes.
So like what do you teach your daughters about loving themselves and being secure in who they are around people who may not think that they're all of that because of the color of their skin. And it's a real thing, and people think it's not, but it is. It's a
It
real
is.
thing.
It is. I'm trying to, educate my girls to be free, and loving their natural being, meaning their hair, their skin color, um, not to conform to all this long weaves and, be your authentic self. Yes, it's work, but guess what? It's your natural self. I try to allow them and educate them. We are the trees. Okay. When you
Yeah,
look at our hair, okay, it represents the plants, which is the earth. Okay.
yeah,
And a lot of times, if we're not self-taught that as a young child, it's kind of hard to try to, teach them.
yeah.
And when the outside world is mimicking something different, to follow the blonde
It's
hairs, the red hair, the long weaves, all that, especially in our culture, because we dominate, okay, and making this industry very wealthy,
yeah, I
very
get it when you
wealthy.
said that because I'm like I'm on this hair journey, right?
Right.
Oh my God, girl, I was a half a second off of being like, I want to get a relaxer. I can't do this. And this
No.
was
No. But you know what? We
like
are
I'm
having upcoming
this.
naturalists. We have hairstylists that do natural hair.
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff out there now than it ever was before, and we just have to embrace it. We have to embrace it. I mean, it's work when you putting the weaves and the colors and the perms in. Come on. straightening it, pressing it, curling it.
You know what?
It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a
And
lot of work. But I,
and you
I think overall with my girls, they are coming into acceptance. They embrace their natural hair. They do still sometimes get the box braids and stuff like that, which is okay. But
there
I tell
nothing
them,
wrong with a good box braid.
right. But when it comes to the weaves and stuff like that, because there was stigma. Now, certain jobs wouldn't hire you. I have my locks. I've been locked for a year now, and it was hard at first.
They
I'm
can't
like,
mess
oh
with you now
God.
with the crown that they can't mess with you.
And I work in the medical field,
Yes,
and I'm like, oh God. But I say,
mhm.
you know what? I gotta walk boldly. This is who I am. This is what I'm gonna embrace. I love me, and I love everything about it. And that's what we have to do. Don't worry about being accepted from, the unintelligent people who don't know better, you
Yeah.
know, because
Yes.
they don't know better.
They
This go way back.
but like people in our own culture, in our own
Yeah.
community don't like I said, and I say it proudly so people can't look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm just learning. Why?
Okay.
Because it wasn't what I was surrounded by. I
Right.
wasn't taught, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional. It's like the way um like they were raised. Like my grandmother didn't want me to probably go through what she went through because I'm not built like she was built. But
Mhm.
even though um it was never verbally said, you know how things aren't verbally said, it's like that unspoken word.
Mhm.
And it's with the hair straightening. And it's with the
Right.
there was this stuff I used to use. I don't know if you remember it. I don't know. You might be too young for it. They still sells called Ambi. Ambi?
Mm.
Ambi soap. It's the Ambi soap.
Oh, the
And
ambi. Uh huh.
yeah, the Ambi actually what they say it removes the blemishes, but what it really
Oh,
is
yes.
bleaching your skin,
Yeah. Mhm.
because you don't feel like you're beautiful, which is crazy. I used to think my lips were too dark.
Mhm.
My skin was too dark. This is what I used to think about myself
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
nobody around me taught me otherwise.
Right.
Even though they may have been confident,
Mhm.
like I commend women like you and women that have little girls right now, especially during such a hard, horrible time like this.
Mhm.
You can teach your daughters the greatness that they are. Their
Right.
mother,
And a lot of times too, these men too, their expectations, because they watching. I don't know.
I got
You have
sons. I
some of
don't
these.
know what they're watching. I
You
don't
got
know.
you got some of these women are in situations, relationship that they have to, obey and try to, change their skin color to light skin, get all this fake body parts to their body and all that. That's another story, and I think it's totally wrong. I feel that, and you see a lot of the talk shows that, what those women are, talking about far as the implants and all this stuff, they
Yeah,
regret it
yeah,
because why? They were uneducated and they didn't love themselves of who they are, and they can naturally tone themselves. Yes, it takes work, but guess what? That's the best work. But I think just overall, we have to be comfortable with our skin, um, who we are, our hair, and everything else that God made us. We have to, and
but
we have
like
to teach our children.
when you talked about the body toning and stuff like
Hmm.
that, why they do it, I have no idea. Because you see the other women doing it, trying to look like us.
Yes.
Down
Now.
braids, right? The lip shots, walking around looking like ducks, and all of these fake butts. When
Hmm.
back in slavery time, the slave masters loved that from the black women.
Oh yeah.
And so it was just always something about, which is disgusting. Ugh. But it was just always something about us
Hmm.
that made us stand out from everybody, not demeaning any other race or culture. I'm talking about the African American woman. There was just always something about us
Hmm.
that people wanted to imitate,
Yeah.
and today it feels good to be who I am, but it's
Hmm.
hard. I'm not even gonna lie. It's
No,
it's
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 definitely
hard
hard.
because
Yeah.
the discrimination, everything is still there. We
It's still
still have
there.
to fight harder. We're
Hmm.
still on the front lines, even though people may not see us on the front lines. We're still on the front lines for everything.
Oh yeah, we're still fighting.
We're fighting for
We're still
everybody,
fighting.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
We're fighting for everybody. Now, real quick, I didn't put up a COVID disclaimer, but I want to talk about the situations the nurses and things were going through. That's not mandated anymore, though, right?
No, it's crazy because I was just under the pressure because of that new mandate, and I stood my ground. I refused to get it, and
Hmm.
rather, I stayed there or God lead me somewhere else. I was doing what I had to do.
Right.
So what happened was Friday they had a meeting, Department of Health, and they overturned it. There's no mandate.
I saw that on the
So
news. I saw that on the news.
so today my manager calls me in and she's like, unfortunately, Felicia, we are our own entity, we are our own private organization. As it stands right now, things are still in place. I said, not to worry. I said, I already have me another job.
Oh,
Okay, quick.
oh,
Guess
okay.
what? Guess what happened at 11:57 exact? Oh, Felicia, the mandate's been uplifted. I said, well, she was like, are you still leaving? I said, absolutely.
Oh,
Right.
well,
Still
well,
got to go.
that's crazy. And you guys, I had the conversation with Alan because I did get vaccinated or whatever, and
Yeah.
uh, and what he said made a lot of sense. It's like it goes against the vaccines and stuff. I don't have a disclaimer up here, but I'm disclaiming right now. This is a verbal disclaimer that I'm not going against the vaccine or anybody that's vaccinated because I believe in vaccination. I believe it's your choice, but it does go against our body's natural defenses.
Correct.
It does. And when I got sick the first time and Alan brought me all that stuff, you know, sis, you shouldn't get the shot. Don't get the shot. Da, 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 da. But I still got the shot after I got the
Mhm.
shot.
Mhm.
But I don't think that people should. I feel if you're not going to get the shot, wear a mask. How do you feel about
I
that?
think we should just wear a mask, period, because we don't know
Oh,
how
me
this
neither.
bacteria is getting out here to the population. So you have to be safe. And because we are, a country with different, um, you know, um, people, we don't know how it's coming. And to be safely and say, Bill Gates is already talking about the next pandemic, which I'm like appalled by that because honestly, how can you know the statistic and status of what something that's supposed to be natural? How you know what's coming if it's
I,
bubonic?
I,
Okay,
that's
so
crazy. That's,
that
that's,
so he's
that's
talking
crazy.
about that, and so you know, you just have to be woken. This goes
Right.
back way back, and people still like say like back in the day, Western times, like the 50s and stuff like that. We didn't have advanced technology, and we didn't have this. No, we didn't have it. But guess what? The herbs and plants still took care of our people.
Right.
Okay.
And I had Chanel on not last Thursday before last talking about organic and holistic approaches and different things, taking the herbs and eating from the earth and all the natural stuff. And it
Yes.
was like I was like a deer in the headlights because I have no idea about all that. That I have a cousin who's into that, and I'm trying to learn. But I'm gonna tell you too, I'm still gonna have my beef hamburgers. In my pork chops with
Oh
gravy.
well, you better go
I'm
to the local farms. You better go to the local farms to get that
I
meat.
don't
Not to the big market. You got to pay more, but guess what?
the
Your health is
the
wealth.
butcher. Go to the butcher.
No,
The meat,
you got
no,
to go to your local farmers.
I don't know
Okay.
where there are any local farmers
Well, you
around.
better get where they at because those people are raising their crops, good, and they don't have to pump them up with all those steroids and all those hormones,
Oh God.
that can affect you.
Uh,
So if you
that,
make that choice,
yeah. I don't know. There's something I got to think about that. Now,
Yeah.
somebody has said
Hmm.
some, and when COVID first came out, I thought it was the dumbest thing I had ever heard in my entire life.
Hmm.
It was a black woman, and she made the comment, "Oh, we don't have to worry about this." Is when now, mind you, this is in the very beginning.
I know what you're about to say.
No, black people don't have to worry about that.
Right.
We won't catch it. Now I'm the one that's being like overprotective and da.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, that person trying to be more sterile than me. But I thought you said black people don't catch it. I'm like,
I
that's like
know.
the dumbest thing I've
I
ever
know.
heard of in my life. It was
I
like,
know.
and then after everybody started catching it, the person's family members started catching it. They said,
Right.
"And it's soon." You know,
Right.
we're, we are human. People act like we're not. And this has been since they brought us over here,
Right.
where we don't feel like people do. We're talking about pain wise, we don't get sick
Hmm.
like people do. And all of that, it really, if you think about it, what she said was that mindset.
Hmm.
She didn't even
Hmm.
realize it.
Right. And it goes back to Bunky as far as our health because they look at different races when they do blood work and all that stuff. They compare between different races, the black race and the Caucasian race and stuff like that. And most effectively, what dominates our race is high blood pressure, diabetes, and all those stem back from how we eat and
Yeah.
how we were taught to eat back in slavery. So that's why we have to renew our mind and overall relearn everything for ourselves. We really do. We really do.
And people don't realize that some of the foods, I still eat pig feet
I
every now
know.
and then. I do, but I'm not that it's rare, but people don't realize that like the foods that we ate were the
Hmm.
scraps that were given. So they made a
Correct.
meal.
Correct.
They did, and so it's passed on, and people are like, well, this is soul food. Well, some of it is, but a lot of it is scraps.
Right. That's why a lot of people don't follow. That's why we like, when it comes to our culture and I don't know if you ever experience like you have that potluck where everybody make a dish from their culture.
No,
So a
I
lot of
never
people
had
don't
that.
really be wanting black people culture because it's salty, high in soda.
See, everybody I know want it. Everybody I know, they want it.
Well, prime example in my work area,
Okay.
no, they're not gonna
No.
want it.
Well,
They
no.
want
Well,
the Spanish food, but they're not wanting black people food.
really?
Absolutely not.
That's pretty. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about our communities.
Hmm.
Back in the day, you always had that grandma that watched out for, the one that sit on the porch.
Oh
There's
yeah.
always that grandma that sit on the porch, that looked out for everybody's kids. Um, there's a bunch of them, sit there with their muumuus on. I call them the muumuus, them house gowns. They looked out for everybody's kids and disciplined everybody's kids or whatever. But today, the generations today, they're like, it seems like, don't talk to my kids like that. Like,
Right.
can't. There's no, and it may sound rough. There's no discipline, I think.
No.
That's why there's no respect. That's why these kids think that they can talk to
Mhm.
adults any way they
Right.
want to, because
Right.
some of the younger parents, African American parents, I can't talk about nobody else because I'm not a part of that culture. A lot of them always did things wrong to me. In my mind, either way they raised their kids, but African American culture, it just seems like young moms, and I was a young mom. I had Kenny when I was 19. But my 19 versus today's 19 is not the same 19.
No.
See, I didn't want to party and turn up with my kids,
Right.
and they don't want people talking to you. Can't talk to my kids. They'll be out in the streets fighting with their kids because
Hmm.
somebody tried to correct their kids because they wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. Does that make sense?
It's terrible, and that's why, overall, Bunky, we have to heal within our own culture, our own race. There's a lot of things we have to touch base and be able to collaborate together and come together, because we are so separate. We are
Yeah.
so separate, and that's where the division come in. There's no unity. Without unity, there's no power.
Mm-mm.
And so, this is where it lies at, and it's worse with this generation. Like you said, you can't talk to these kids. These kids have a sense of entitlement, you know before, if you were away from your parents, and sometimes you slip or said a cuss word around a grown folk, you was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
Now these kids nowadays, they are
No,
cuss up something and look you in the face and don't even think twice of being
they don't.
ashamed of saying anything. We're in a
No.
different time right now, and it's so bad and it's so sad, with this generation that's happening. It goes back again with the parenting and how you brought up. And even if you weren't brought up with a lot of information or education about who we are,
Respect.
and respectfully, you as an adult, you are responsible for yourself, to
Right.
teach yourself, opposed to whatever your parents didn't teach you, because this is an
Exactly.
individual thing. When we die, we not dying with mama, we're
Right.
not dying with daddy, we dying by ourselves. So it's important that we grow. And how can we grow? We grow with knowledge. So
Right.
a lot of these parents, they don't want to grow, they want to be in the position that they are in, and that's where we are right now. It's terrible.
And there's no reason for a lack of growth because okay, if you don't want to read a book, there's audio books, there's
Come
the
on, come on.
um
There's a lot of ways now.
there's a lot of ways. I mean, there's
A lot of
videos
ways.
too. There's just like so
You
many
don't have
different.
no excuse. You
There's
have no excuse.
no excuse.
No
But
excuse.
some of the, I mean, like you look at how some of these little girls
Hmm.
are dressed. They think it's cute to have the little girls and I mean babies in belly crop tops and
Yeah.
like now all the pants are skinny jeans and that's
Hmm.
just what it is. But it's like they make these little babies look like women. I
Yeah.
remember wearing makeup. Well, I never wore makeup. It wasn't my thing. But like the only time little girls could wear makeup was at Halloween.
That's
Now
right.
these little girls and stuff, they got their nails done and
Long too.
little girls got the extensions. So I mean extensions down to their butt. So they don't learn to love themselves because
Mm-mm.
mama is already teaching them
Right.
this is the way you're supposed to look,
Right.
you know.
It's a vicious cycle. And you know, it's very sad, because they're gonna, at the end, that you get nowhere. There's no modesty, there's no respect. These kids, a lot of time I saw a lot of pretty girls, growing up, and the way they allow men to talk to them and degrade them. I mean, begging and pleading out. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're beautiful and you're allowing this brother to talk to you, demand you like that, like you're some trash, like that, and you want to love on this man. Something is wrong with that.
There's something wrong with the women and there's
Yeah.
something wrong with the men
Mhm. Mhm.
because if you can look at this black woman who you want to treat you like a king and
Mhm.
do all this stuff for you, why do you treat her like a stepping stool? Like
Yeah.
the way I see it is okay, your mother was black, your grandmother was black, your sister's cousins were black. How would you feel if the next man did that to your mother, sister, cousin?
Right.
And for the women that accept it, I don't know. I
But
want to
then
have that
again,
conversation with
right.
somebody. I would really love for somebody that's bold enough to just come on tea time and talk about it and explain it to me
Mhm.
because I don't understand that mindset. True, I had, believe it or not, I had really low self-esteem growing up.
Mhm.
But I'll be doggone if anybody was putting their hands on me. We wasn't doing that. And you was not calling me out of my name, not ever. But I just wonder, what is it that makes these women think that it's okay? It's all right for that man to punch me in the face like a grown man. Like,
Hmm.
what is that about? Like, I mean, like, this is a whole different show.
Right.
I would love to have, I mean, like, really, I would love putting it out there for somebody to reach out to me so we can have that conversation. And
Yeah, it's not acceptable. Hmm.
I I um I know a few women that have gone through that, but they won't talk about it. And
I
that was
mean,
always my
it's
question too. Why? Why did
yeah.
we let why?
It goes back again because we don't know who we are. We don't love ourselves. And if you don't love self, how can you love somebody else? You just accept anything.
Right.
That's
And a
how it
lot of
goes.
times it's what you've grown up seeing. If
And
mama
you
put
grown
up
up,
with it,
yes, yes, witness. Yeah, yep, yep.
no.
And a lot of times these men too, they grew up seeing their fathers,
Right. Exactly.
beating on their mothers.
They don't get, it's like they don't get that our kids duplicate everything that we do.
Right, right,
Everything that we do. I mean, they still do stuff we don't do, but for the
right.
most part, they get their foundations from even the parents that don't live in a home. Like me and my ex-husband, we were separate,
Mhm.
but our kids are truly a replica of both of us.
Right.
They have my behaviors and they have his behaviors,
Mhm.
you know? So it's like these men and women out here who have kids and things like that, stop having your little boy, 3 years old, pants sagging. Hello,
Oh,
that's not cute.
oh
That's a
God.
prison thing. That's a prison thing.
It's such
So
a
you
bad image. It's such a bad image. And I have my son. My son is 21. And like I said again, it's all about, the image out here, and you want to be part of society in their ways. But I was very strict. We were very strict on our boys. Don't even pretend it, don't even do it in the house. You will not sag. And I tell them like this, boss men don't sag. Okay.
know they do, look, a boss be looking real good in them suits. They be
They do
looking
not
good in them
sag.
suits.
So,
They do.
he has that belt on. Okay. They all have. And if his friends came around with that same mannerism, they had to clean up.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Don't come around me with that nonsense.
well, I wouldn't come around Alan with that.
Oh my God. It's so sad. But, again, I was seeing like, and then you got the big ones. I got the big booties. I saw a young kid. I said, "Oh my God, you just can't. You just can't." Like, that is so. I mean, they don't even understand the ignorance of it all. You walking around like this.
Right.
It's such
How
a bad image.
how do
I
the
can't.
big booty? I can't.
Oh
Um.
my God, and jiggling. Oh Lord.
Oh. 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 Okay. So, like, so
Yeah.
how do we work to try to help these younger people, or not even younger people, like our age, my age? I'm older than you. Um, self love, so that they can teach their younger generation and offspring self love, because their behaviors, like the weapons and the
Hmm.
gang banging and the womanizing and the menizing, men, women, yeah, how to, because there are women out there too that be doing the same
Oh
thing.
yeah. Hmm.
But how do we, besides trying to live that life and be the living examples, like how do we get into their head? Because it's like, really, it's like somebody needs to save these people, because we're really going backwards.
Yeah, but honestly, Bunky, the time that we end, it tells us that these kids are gonna be loving themselves. People are loving themselves. They don't
Yeah,
care. Um,
it
the
is in
book
the
tells
word.
us, the Bible tells us. I'm not gonna get on the spiritual path,
But it's in
but
the word though.
but it
Love is
is
like
in
the
the
most.
word. The word of truth is there, and it's telling us. And again, We have kids that come from good backgrounds, families, and all that, and yet and still they still want to be a part of the streets. They run down here and they want to be a part of it. Nothing that their parents did but try to save them. But yet and still these kids individually want to take part. So what do we do? I mean, a lot of times what happened with these resources places, because people, took advantage of that money. There's not a lot of nonprofit places that's, the government's paying for,
Right.
you know. So
Right.
collectively, I think the only thing we can do is, unite and build our own communities, like a lot of other states are doing, like the Black
Right.
Wall Street and all that stuff. They come together collectively because we are still we are still not where we need to be.
No, we're very
And
far from
we
where we need.
very far still, and,
Very
and it
far.
shouldn't be like that. We
Right.
very far still.
And we
So
know that the examples, it starts in the home. That we know. We know it starts
mhm,
in the home. But I'm talking about the kids who just it's not going to start. It's not going to start in their home because their parents just want to be gangsters and they want to be.
yeah,
They just
it's
want
kind
to.
of hard. It's kind of hard when you have uneducated, not
Yeah.
even educated, but like no morals or respect at all for yourself.
Right.
They cannot teach their kids to have. I'm in a prime example. I live in a area where, people still to this day, they have these same issues that they had 20 something years ago. And they kids, like you said, they out here fighting with their kids. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's as disgusting even to look at that. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should want to save your children. My kids is not a product of, a product
Their
of,
environment.
you
Right.
know, of the environment. My kids did not do the same thing I did. All my kids graduated, and my oldest went to college. She's still in school. You know what I mean?
Right.
They did the opposite because I didn't want my kids to do what I did. Why? When I paid for it,
Right.
why have them? So you have to be involved. I was involved with my kids all the way up to 12th grade.
Right.
I went to the parents teachers conference. You can't just
Yeah.
tell me anything.
Yeah. I went to them
Okay?
parent teacher conferences.
All the way to 12th grade, monkey, I went. What I'm
Yes.
trying to tell you.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I
Okay?
hear you.
Because again, I know how the system work.
Right.
Okay? Not
Right.
everybody up there is for. Even our
No.
own people are not for their own people.
No,
Okay?
they're
I
not.
witnessed that too.
Yeah.
And it's disgrace
Yeah.
that we have to still, deal with that. And because of certain class of our people that was in a certain environment and they did not live a certain way or around certain people, they better
Yes.
than now, you
Right.
know. And that's
Right.
another issue we have to face. And that's
Yeah.
terrible that happens.
Isn't it though?
It's terrible.
Isn't it though? They yeah.
It's
There's a
terrible.
bunch of them. Yeah.
It's bad. It's
I mean,
bad.
like, there's some that grew up. Some of them though. Um, I got somebody in mind. Grew up in had a hard life growing up,
Hmm.
but God bless them where they're good, right? They're fine now.
Right.
Whereas they can use their life to help encourage and bring somebody else up.
Hmm.
They use it to promote themselves,
Hmm.
and they're pulling everybody else up, but people that look like them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's such a shame. I see people, I have, witnessed like even distant family members that's in high position and all that and doing well. And like, how God say, remember me? Okay. That's how I see people. God will bring you to a place where you got to remember.
I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the same way how he elevates you, the same way he could bring you
Bring it
down.
down. Yeah.
So people are not even careful when God bless them and bring them in certain positions and high, titles and all this stuff. You're there for a reason,
Right.
you know.
You are.
Be used well. A lot of people don't. So, it's just me myself, Bunky, I'm just trying to be authentic, being tuned to who I am, learning how to meditate and spiritually and just, and that's a whole nother issue, meditation and all that stuff, you know. A lot of when I grew up in Christianity, they said that was satanic. It's not. It's part of who we
Meditation,
are.
yoga, all that. Yeah.
Right.
Part of the
And
earth.
it's
And we're becoming
it's
one
earth.
and in tune. Right.
And we need that. And I think as women, we have to be more involved with one another and encouraging for one another like never before, because the mantles that we take, there's a lot. And sometimes it gets overwhelming. I saw an image, I don't know if you saw it, but the man was the head, right?
Hmm.
Yet and still, the woman's behind the man, right?
Right.
But the man is holding the world, and we holding the man in the world.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
How about
But you
that?
know what? That's how it is, though.
That's how it
That
is.
that's how it is.
That's
That's
definitely how it is.
that is.
And we have to be strong. How can we hold all that up? So it comes a time where if we're not careful with ourselves, a lot of times this world get the best of us.
Yeah, and it's
So
easy.
what, we
It's
don't have
easy
an
to get
outlet
wrong.
too. We don't have sisters that we can find to, and they used to have that. You can lean on your sister.
Yeah,
Where is that at now?
everything is a
Without people
competition.
gossiping and judging you.
Yeah, no, and that's why people don't go to other women.
Yeah.
But I can only speak for
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
because it's always a competition. It's like,
Yes.
I'm coming to you because I need you, especially if you're older than me. If
Right.
you're older than me, you've been through something. So
Correct.
I should be able to come to you and talk to you.
Yes.
Just like a young girl can come to me that's going through something, because I've been there. And
Right.
it's no gossip, it's no judgment, it's just the straight truth. This is what it is.
Right.
Don't let this happen to you. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. If you need somebody to
Right.
cry with you, I'm gonna cry with you.
Right.
I'm not a
Right.
fighter. I'm not going out in the streets and fighting. We're not doing. I'm not throwing on myself. I'm just
Okay.
that's just me. That's not what I'm gonna do. But
Right.
but I'm there for you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know. But you can't do that with some people, because you take your vulnerability and they use it against you.
Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of depression and people's anxiety, and you see all of this mental illness going on,
Yeah.
because we are overwhelmed and we don't have an outlet.
Don't have an outlet.
That's why I'm like, I am openly looking for a counselor, but she has to look like me, because that's the only way she can relate to me. I've gone to other ones. That may sound crazy to some people, but if you don't know where I'm coming from, or you don't know what I've been through, having taken those counseling courses for going to school for it, I know what would work for me and what wouldn't work for me.
Right. I think overall, when it comes to counseling, because before, I think the fact that we never went to counseling
Yeah,
is
it's taboo.
because what they used to do, and it's nothing wrong with it. But like you said, I would rather have someone that looks like me, but potentially understand me,
Yeah, they
because
have
everybody
to
that
know
looks
that.
like us, like I said,
Yeah,
they come from different walks of life, and they
right,
hold themselves a different, high standard, like they can't relate
right,
and stuff like that. And in counseling, you have to be neutral too. You cannot share your personal
no.
experience, but again, you have to have empathy.
Yeah, and you have to, even though you can't share your personal, right? You can let that client know, because I learned this when I went to my residency. You
Hmm.
can let that person know in a way, without going into your business,
Right.
that you are relatable,
Right.
that
Without
you
even
real
saying.
without
Hmm.
even saying it. Now, if
Okay.
you can't relate to me, I mean, like, you're not going to relate with everything I say, but just feel a little bit.
Yeah, that empathy.
I've sat across from most of them. Well, they were all white women, and like some of them used to look at me like I was crazy. So I never really opened up, and
Yeah,
that's why I'm probably still jacked up today,
because you couldn't
because
be yourself.
I couldn't be my authentic self. But
Yeah.
today, at almost 52, I can be extremely authentic.
Oh, you better be authentic, sister. Give give a
I
hey.
I don't know no other
Say,
way to
give
be
them what
today.
you got. Okay,
Exactly.
let that power rise.
Right.
And
And we need to teach our young people this.
yeah,
We need to teach them to, it's okay to feel, especially our boys,
yeah.
you know. Our,
Yeah, the boys are very troubled in school because, A lot of time it go back. Remember, they only wanted them to play sports. Okay, they were good for sports, but when it came to
Absolutely.
education, that was a whole different issue. You
Yeah.
know, but we have to love on our children. Educate them. I don't care how old you are. You could be 60. Okay, but guess what? If you're willing to learn at
Right.
60, at least you're learning.
Right.
Than to close your eyes and say, "I never knew."
Right. Or I wasn't taught that way.
I
People
wasn't taught
think
that way.
that.
My mother didn't tell me.
Right.
Yeah, I want to hear all that.
Right. Don't nobody want to hear that.
Nobody
Not
want to hear those excuses
don't,
at all.
don't nobody got time for that.
Yes,
Um, well, we have 5 minutes left. It went
yes,
fast. Went
yes, it
fast.
did.
Um, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Even the peanut gallery in the back. I appreciate you guys because I mean, like I watch. I don't say much. I just watch. I'm a watcher. I sit back and watch.
Mhm.
And your kids are well grounded. You know, they're doing good things, and y'all raised them in Newburgh. Not that
Mhm.
Newburgh is a horrible. It's not. It's just scary to me because I'm scared of everything.
Yeah.
But like you guys did a great job, and your kids are knowledgeable about their history because
Mhm.
y'all ain't gonna have it any other way.
Right.
You know, so that means your grandchildren are gonna go even further, which is amazing.
That's right.
You know, so
That's what it takes.
that's what it
That's what it
takes.
takes. That's what it takes. Each generation, change each generation. You know, that's where
And
the
we
power lies at. We have a
and we
lot of teaching amongst ourselves and our culture and our race. And if we don't act now, we will never be able to rise at all.
isn't it horrible?
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
'Cause we are truly it's like we're going backwards. I don't understand. People be like, "Oh, we pushing forward." Nah, I don't see it. Maybe
No,
a little bit, maybe a little
no.
bit, but not.
You still, no.
We
We
got a
are
long,
still, we got a
yeah,
long way. When you seeing, like, come on, we're like in the social media with the police killing our black men. Okay, that's just used to like when they surrounded when they were hanging them. Okay,
yeah.
but now it's the social media. Okay,
It's
how we moving? It's
yeah,
just different technology being used, and it's a shame. And then our people getting killed in jail cells, very inhumane.
and
You
people
know,
not
people
knowing how it
fleeing
happened.
for their life, and you listen there and you watch them die like that. Would you
But that
allow your kind to do that? That's the thing. And I tell people too, Bunky, the thing about it is when you start seeing your people dying, then you'll understand.
and they don't. In
No,
mass numbers, they really don't.
no,
And
no.
I just saw on the news, uh, down south, that south, the same thing that happened to Ahmaud Arbery recently happened again. I don't know if you saw it. I gotta find out exactly where it was. It was a father and a son chased this young black boy down and shot and killed him.
Mm.
Yeah, but you don't hear about
I'm
that one.
scared of those states. I'm scared of those states, those
Yeah,
southern states, because
can't
we
have
have
the
to be
south.
careful everywhere. But you know, um,
She said what
it's
you mean.
um, it's more prevalent down there in those areas that you could potentially lose your life in their hands. Scary.
Terrifying,
It's terrifying.
terrifying.
And we in 2022
2022, and they just have a
still
new form
talking.
of
Come
lynching,
on,
a new
come on.
form. I mean,
The
for those
fight is
that
real.
the
The fight is real, my sister. And
scary.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate this platform and
I
everything you're doing,
appreciate
because
you.
it's a lot. And I think it's amazing that we can talk about these things, different issues that's happening, because that's how it gets out there. So I'm glad that God is using you and He's creating this platform for you, and you're gonna go farther than where you at.
Thank you.
You already gained farther. Like you started, I watched you and it's like, wow,
Yeah,
look at that. You,
God is
like Tyler
teaching me.
Perry said, he said, I only wanted one show. Okay. on
Right. Oh,
stage.
okay.
He never knew how far it was gonna go, but see, he wasn't thinking. He just
Right.
wanted one opportunity,
Right.
and that's what you're doing, and it's a blessing,
Thank
this
you,
journey of
ma'am.
life. Keep up the great work. I appreciate you having
I
me on here.
appreciate you too. Okay.
Tea time with Bunky.
Tea
Yes.
time. Tea time. All right, everybody. It is 8 o'clock. I want to thank you so much.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you
you, Felicia,
too.
so much for coming on. Now, for those, I just want to let people know that was coming on last Thursday for my guest, Mr. Darrell Poole. We had a lot of technical difficulties. Could
Oh.
I have done it in person? I could have. However, he has such a compromised immune system
Oh, okay.
that Lord forbid anything would have happened to him. And he survived everything he survived. It didn't because I'm out everywhere and I give him something.
Yeah.
I can't do it myself. So we're doing it this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So
I
he
gotta tune in.
absolutely. I mean, because he had kidney transplant, a stroke, a heart attack, died for 4 minutes, was in a coma for 6 weeks, and a
God
rehab
raised them.
3 months, all before the age of 40.
Wow. That's
So
deep.
that's deep. So he'll be on Thursday, and it's gonna you guys tune in. So
I will.
you guys have a super fabulous night, and I will see you all on Thursday. Good night.
Yes.
Never
Good
goodbye.
night.
It's always good night.
Good night.
Good night.